Alrighty. Let everyone pool in. All right, you guys, welcome in. Welcome in. We're gonna get everyone just a minute to get situated in here. So if you guys want to grab a quick glass of water, get yourself situated. We'll get started here in just a few minutes. Thanks for showing up, you guys. All right, guys, if you're just joining, we're just going to give it like another 30 seconds to a minute. We're going to get started. Just so you guys know, we're probably not going to take the full hour, probably 45 minutes today. So you get 15 minutes back in your afternoon and your morning. Okay. E, are you ready?
Let's do this. I'm excited.
Kick it off. I think everyone's ready to go here.
Awesome. Well, really appreciate it. My goodness. Everyone taking time out of their busy schedules to join us today. Thank you, Zach, too, for co-hosting this with me. My name is Elizabeth Bernberg. I'm the Director of Business Development here at AdCellerant. And we just want to thank you for joining today. Product combinations, growing your pipeline, retaining your business, and enhancing, right, your pipeline development too. And what's going to be great kind of go-to strategies and methodologies to retain business, to grow digital business. Zach Jarecki is going to be leading today's webinar. He is our business development manager. But we have our leader and wingman here answering questions for y'all in the back. Mr. Ben Bauslog, our Vice President of Business Development, is also here. We want to be sure that this is interactive in terms of questions that y'all might have as we're going through this information. Please feel free to use that Q&A, that chat feature. Ben will be addressing those questions as they come about, and we can definitely bring them up to the entire group and kind of unpack from there. We will be sending a recording out to all attendees, of course, as well as the deck too. But I'm thinking, let's be good with everyone's time, Zach. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, so to get the party started, you guys, the agenda that we have for today is the following. So the first thing we're going to go over what is programmatic, why you should be using it, why you should be selling it. We'll then go into how utilizing programmatic offerings is just going to impact your pipeline just tremendously. So you guys are going to really see some cool views of how quickly that can build your sales team up closer to goal. We'll then touch on some of our really easy to use Google products that are great for pairing with programmatic. We'll move into then our suggested packaging for some of these products, and then how these packages are really going to do a great job at just covering the entire customer journey for you guys and your clients. Then we'll move it into QA and next steps. So hopefully that's good with everyone. Let's get cranking.
Awesome. And before we get into the meat and potatoes, I want to throw out some questions for you all to just kind of keep in the back of your mind as we go through these slides. And Zach is going to be kind of highlighting the whys behind this, right? Why behind programmatic, how these, the multi-product combination is going to support your client's goals and objectives, but your client retention. Think about your current campaign and advertiser retention rate. Do you know what that rate is? What's the why when campaigns don't renew? Have advertisers talk to you about performance? Is it cost? Is it transparent reporting? What does your current digital product mix look like? Are you hitting key areas in the sales funnel? Or are you maybe too heavy on one side of that funnel, maybe on the branding and awareness, and you need more bottom of the funnel solutions? Last but not least, what does your customer and campaign retention strategy look like? Is there room for improvement? So I want you all to keep those questions, again, top of mind as we go through today's webinar. Zach, all you, my friend.
I'll take it back, E. So guys, the first thing that I always like to really highlight when I've been on calls with my partner AEs or with the customer or with our team internally, the first thing that you got to hang your hat on when it comes to programmatic is its reach. It has phenomenal reach within the market. And that's just not just impressions. It's ability to reach different types of users where they are at their, in their customer journey. It does a fantastic job with that. The second piece is the visual appealing part of that. And let's unpack that a little bit. So it's not one platform where you're just using, Facebook carousel ads or single image ads, or you have text ads. You have multiple ranges of creative that you can use, everything from audio to video to static ads to gift-based ads. The world's your oyster when it comes to using programmatic. It does a great job of creating strong brand awareness because it's usually more top of funnel line product when you're utilizing programmatic. It's highly, highly targeted. So for a lot of those familiar existing partners I see in the attendee list today, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Trade Desk has the ability to get so narrow with the audience targets that we go after. It's not just moms, it's moms with 2 kids. It's not just people who are in business, it's people that work for a SaaS company. It's just so granular. Another example would be past purchase of Clorox wipe or past purchases of oil change. Its ability to get hyper targeted of who you want to get these ads in front of is just phenomenal. As Elizabeth kind of highlighted at the start, it does a beautiful job pairing with other products in the funnel, and we'll get into that today. And one of my favorite things about programmatic is its ability to be customized from top to bottom with its campaign setup. So everything from the time of day that you want to advertise, to the browser that you want to advertise on, to the geo that you want to advertise on, even to the frequency. So it's really customizable and tailored to whatever marketing goal that your customer is going to have. E, is there anything that you wanted to build on this?
Yeah, I think too, to highlight and kind of piggyback on what you're saying here, it's important to note that programmatic is such a foundational component to a full digital marketing strategy. A lot of your SMBs might be really focused on social media, right? Or, oh, we're just doing search engine marketing, but they really might be missing this huge and crucial piece of their digital strategy. How are they getting in front of people, right? When they're looking for products and services. Programmatic is going to enable your clients to be in front of the right person at the right time on the right device. And a quick highlight too, for those who are new to AdCellerant and not our current partners, it's important to highlight too, that while we're focusing right now on programmatic, AdCellerant offers the full stack of digital marketing capabilities to our partners. So you don't need to worry about a swivel chair, right? And hopscotching from vendor to vendor when it comes to putting together strategic plans. We've got all of that covered for you as a partnership. So wanted to highlight that real quickly, but let's keep rolling. I love it. Cool.
All right, guys. So for programmatic, there's 3 main targeting functionalities that I want the majority of you to focus on. For those existing partners that have been through programmatic training, yes, there are still those 9 to 12 other options you're going to get. But these are the 3 meat and potato ones that I want all of y'all focusing on. And when you guys are in the proposal tool, you're going to see these 3 sections. You're going to see your behavioral, your content, and your demographic targeting. I want to break this down into more layman's method of approach for it. So that behavioral targeting is based upon the behaviors online that users and potential customers are performing. But when we lay it out in technical terms to our customers, we get kind of lost in the mumble jumble of everything. So it's really good to start asking yourself and your clients certain types of questions. So for behavioral, I always used to like to ask, what interests my customer? Do they like to shop? Do they like to work out? Are they food enthusiasts? Do they purchase certain types of brands or products? What are they searching for online? Are they looking for a home? Are they looking to get their kids in school? what are they, what activity are they actually performing online? Think about what those things are, put yourself in the customer's shoes and start to just answer those questions. And you're going to be astonished with the level of targeting that Trade Desk can provide when you have the answers to those questions. Let's go to that second one. That second one is our contextual targeting or our content targeting. So the content targeting is what type of website is it? So ESPN, it's a sports-based website. Your news websites like CNN, Fox News, even weather.com, that's news-based content. Or if you went on Forbes, that's finance-based content. So questions we ask ourselves again, what is my customer looking at? What are they actively reading when they're going to engage with my ad? What topics do they love to, be interested in the know about? Are they looking at that on an app? Are they looking at that on a website? There's a big difference when you're consuming content on the types of devices. So again, these are the questions I want you to ask yourself and ask the customer when starting to answer these questions. And then the third and final one is your demographic targeting. I know that we always hear from our customers and our clients, oh, anyone and everyone can shop with us, but they always have that ideal customer profile. And that does come down to our demographic targeting. So everything from age, income, gender, all of that. Those are the types of questions that I want you to ask. So are they parents? What income do they make? What's their occupation? Do they have a degree? Do they have 1 kid? Do they have 5 kids? Those are the questions I want you to start asking yourself. Elizabeth, what do you want to build?
I absolutely love the questions for yourself. I think these are super important to really, focus on, because you want to have your best foot forward when you're connecting, when your sellers are connecting with the advertisers, right? These questions are going to help set you up and the campaign up for success when it comes to retaining this business and growing this business month over month, quarter over quarter. So don't take these questions lightly right here. This helps formulate the appropriate campaign strategy. Of course, we're going to be optimizing. Of course, we're going to be adjusting and fine tuning. Absolutely. But this gives your client that aha moment that you're taking on that consultative approach that will further support your retention efforts when you start putting together this campaign and you're talking about reporting and analytics afterwards.
Cool. Sorry, my camera moved there. All righty, guys. All right. For some of you on the phone, you guys have seen me do this with you specifically as your account manager. Some of you have seen your other account managers do it. If you're on onboarding, you're going to see this. So programmatic proposals, they drive your pipeline. They drive it massively. And I want to paint a couple of different circumstances for you guys today to see it. So I have the circumstance below at the bottom where we have AEs or reps or teams that are submitting 2 proposals a month, up to 5 proposals a month. And then we have some different impression amounts and some different CPMs. Let's see what that does to our pipeline when we look at it in a nutshell. So the first circumstance is we're going to be pushing, proposals that have 40,000 impressions and you're selling it at a $10 CPM. So we can quickly see how that's going to impact our pipeline. So we're going from $800 of opportunity to $2,000 of opportunity. Just with, 3 extra proposals. And that can, Elizabeth said it perfectly earlier. That could be just good, better, best. That could be 1 proposal per opportunity. That's whatever way you want to look at it. We get in the second circumstance. Let's say there's, certain managers on the phone right now where $10 is not enough profitability. We need to move it to 11. You can just see that $1 adjustment, how much that starts to tack on even more separation when adding more proposals to the pipeline. But let's say you were a team that you want to be price competitive, but you want to have maybe, let's say, an impression minimum. So instead of 40,000 impressions, you guys want to charge 50. What does that do to the pipeline? That grows it even more. So we see a common theme here, you guys. The common theme is the amount of proposals, the rate that we're charging, and then the minimum amount of impressions that we're willing to accept for a campaign, and how dynamically quickly that can change your pipeline forecast. Just within, the first few options here that I like to highlight, just that $10 CPM is already at the same pipeline as the 4 proposals versus 5. So just those small dynamics are going to change things up a lot. And I think when it comes to doing these proposals, if you look at 2 proposals versus 5, I did not mean to close that out. 2 proposals versus 5, this is probably 1 hour of time tops if your team's going to create proposals or if our team's going to create proposals. And this is probably 30 minutes a month, not a day, a month. These are the baseline minimums. E, what do you want to jump in here on?
Well, I think, I love that you highlighted too the time efficiencies right here too.
Yeah.
I think that's really important because this is also a beauty of the Adcelerant partnership as well. And for those who are, again, new and joining us for the first time, we are an extension of your sales team, of your management team. We could be building out these proposals on your behalf so your sellers are maximizing sales activities, meaning they're in front of clients. They're out there in the streets. They're knocking on doors. They're building that pipeline and those relationships and that momentum, and not having to worry about putting together the strategy or the product mix. Let us do that. And we can literally help incrementalize this revenue opportunity that you see right here. And this is a snapshot, literally a quick snapshot that shows with minimal tweaks, whether to the impression play or the rate play, how you can really impact what your revenue is going to be at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, at the end of the year. Adcelerant also works in tandem with our partners to really build out a plan to reach your goals and objectives. We can literally reverse engineer based on your total number of sellers, your average deal size, your closing ratio, right? Do you know your closing percentage? We're going to help you get there. We want to be able to put together a strategic and calculated plan that will keep both parties accountable in achieving these revenue goals and retaining and growing that business.
Perfect. E. So guys, I want to go into pipeline and how that's impacting profitability here. So I got a circumstance on the left side of the screen. It's a 40K buy. Let's go to the right side of the screen. That's our 50K buy. So two separate deals here. Let's talk about how some of these simple tweaks change the profitability just like that. Yeah. Within these ranges, your wholesale rate's going to stay the same. So that's why I drew a nice wholesale line on what the wholesale costs would come out to and what profitability is going to look like for those leaders in the phone. So let's say situation left. We have 40K of impressions that we want to sell to the client. And let's say we don't want to charge the $10 CPM and we want to charge the 12. So within that just one move on this deal, we've gained 20% of additional profitability on this opportunity. But let's say the deal moves from 40K to 50K, but we are still willing to charge the same rate at $10 CPM. We gain a 25% increase in profitability. So just guys, with those small changes we talked about, you're not only building your pipeline and building your revenue, you're building the profitability at the same time. You're just compounding it, not even realizing it. So just these small changes go the longest way. And I think this situation paints a nice picture. Elizabeth, I want to jump into the next one and let's chime in.
Keep rolling. I love it.
Let's jump into this one. So the compounding pipeline.
It's my favorite.
Let's do that. Let's do that first example. We're going to do one rep, kind of doing the bare minimum here. So that's one rep closing one deal a month at 40K of impressions per deal and $12 CPM per deal. So they're already at 4,600 of revenue for the year. I know there's a lot of you that probably want more out of that. So let's say instead of 40,000 impressions at $12, let's do 60 at 10. Immediately, we're bringing in more revenue. Again, small tweak. Let's say we can get reps to close 2 deals per month. So 40K at $11, 2 deals per month. Holy cow. We're catching lightning in a bottle, you guys. So if this is one rep and you got 8 reps on your team, you got 12 reps on your team, take that number and multiply it by 12, multiply it by 9, multiply it by 6. That's your digital revenue for the year. And I even put conservative numbers on here. These are rates built in with 80% monthly retention. A lot of you that work with us know that we can beat those retention numbers. So the numbers are even higher than what this forecast looks like. E, I'll let you take it back. What do you got?
I mean, as a former Adcelerant partner myself, and knowing that at the end of the day, you've got to put together the best profitability strategy for your business and ensure that you are supporting your advertisers again and again, reaching their goals and objectives so they do return, right? So they are coming back to you. I love this visual component because it really paints, and this is a 1 month picture here. This just gives you the true scope of the potential that you have out there with minimal adjustments and KPIs, right? These productivity metrics that you can put in place with your team that we can help you achieve. Think about training too, and think about, even how your current partner, if you're working with somebody else, are they looking at your business through this kinds of lens? Are they tapping into your business intelligence and creating a story and building a path to what a future year, a future 2 year, a future 3 years will look like. Those are the kinds of questions that you want to ask your current provider. That's exactly what AdCellerant does day in and day out. And a big part of, this pipeline development, and we'll get into it a little bit later, is setting your team up for success with the appropriate strategies, the appropriate training, so that they're armed and dangerous enough to get the deal done.
I was gonna say that one deal turns into 2 deals, and then by month 3 or 4, it's turning into 5 deals. So these are the most conservative effort or conservative numbers, you guys. This is just scratching the tip of the iceberg. All right. So a really important thing when it comes to, my experience on the account management team, what we see with our products, what we see on the front lines working with you guys and your advertisers, is a white labeled support arm. One thing that we really want to focus on is selling the whole funnel. And I know we always have budget restrictions around that. We already, sometimes have competitive restriction around that, but you need to complete the funnel. That top portion we've already talked about is where a lot of that profitability that you guys are seeking is coming from. And that's where the brand awareness that is generated, the curiosity is created there. And the further we go down the funnel, the more of that active search interest within the browser, within Google begins, but you got to be there at the start. Right. So our high funnel efforts, that all starts with pre-roll. That starts with our OTT and CTV based product called streaming TV, our display, our geofencing. And then a lot of you are familiar with your mid funnel, your low funnel products, because those tend to be the most common, but we want to sell the whole thing. And what happens when we don't sell the whole thing, someone else sells the whole thing. And when they sell that thing, they get the full buy, and you lose your buy, and you lose your dollars. So it's really critical not to miss all elements of this funnel and make sure that you're taking into consideration all aspects of the funnel to make the client successful and maximize your profitability, because we've already talked about it. All the profitability is coming from right here, okay? E, what do you got?
I mean, visually, I love this, because if this doesn't paint a picture, right, of what you need to be focusing on and not giving into a possible competitor shimmying in and taking your share, taking a part of your budget. I mean, I love this. It's a simple, clear picture. It is crucial to your business, to your advertiser's business, to have this multi-platform approach. There is no silver bullet in digital marketing. You've got to be in all of these places at once. And again, AdCellerant, we are that full stack provider, that full solutions at your fingertips. So you don't have to be hopscotching from provider to provider to get support and strategy for display, or, hey, I need more additional elements on search engine marketing over here with this provider. That's going to cut into your time for sales-driven activities. Nobody has time for that. You need to maximize your time and maximize that revenue potential and streamline your efforts. We can definitely support you with all of those capabilities so you can take that full share, that full budget, that full funnel.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Alrighty, guys, let's jump into those easy to use Google products. And we do say easy. I promise it's easy. I know a lot of people, when they see these products right out the gate, oh my gosh, the anxiety, creeps up. The fear, comes in. It's okay, you guys. You have a whole team here that's going to take you through each of these. Before I get into them, I always want to point out, we do those SEO audits for free. Those are complimentary. You get sales support, white labeled sales support to help you guys sell it as part of your partnership. We're not expecting you guys to do it all yourselves. We're an extension of you and your family and your team. So that first one is that organic SEO. That's a really good low funnel product for clients that want to have a permanent presence within Google Bing itself. That's that longer term play. And if you look at that longer term play from a cost standpoint, it's a lot more cost effective than most pay-per-click budgets on a monthly basis. It also does a great job of just boosting qualified and relevant traffic to the site, because you're going to be showing up for so many more relevant keywords just organically within Google. You're not going to have to pay every time for it, especially when the keywords get expensive through the PPC based model. You're just naturally going to show up for it. So a lot of clients really benefit from that type of product on a 4, 6, 8 month time length. Pay per click, that's more of your pay to play model. So it's going to get your client quickly and relevantly in front of a targeted user base. So it's going to put them right at the top of the page. It is a great substitution for those customers that you're working with that might not have the cream of the crop when it comes to organic presence. Paid search is that option. And then on the far right, we have our local offerings. So that's all the local SEO offerings that are happening off the site. So when we Google, restaurants in the area, dealerships in the area, apartments in the area, we want to show up for that geo-modified search in the map. This is a great solution for businesses that have an actual physical location, and they need that physical location to be successful. And it's successful because it has communal foot traffic coming in. So all three of these are very relevant in the low funnel. It's just finding out what's best given the customer circumstance.
Absolutely. And, what do we do when we're looking for products or services? I mean, every single advertiser that we've ever spoken to, they go, well, how can I get better on Google? Right? How can I get found first on Google? What do we do as consumers? We Google that stuff day in and day out. These three elements right here, they're incredibly cost effective. They also enable your advertiser, especially with that PPC component, that pay-per-click, your paid search, they can play alongside big box companies who are bidding on the same kinds of keywords. These are super impactful and needed strategies in a campaign to complement that top of the funnel, right? The programmatic, the foundational element. When you're adding in these Google components, your retention rate will increase doublefold, period. Because you're focusing on, with these elements, the bottom of the funnel, right? Those conversions. And they're, like I said, they're incredibly cost effective. They're sticky. Long-term solutions here. These are minimum of 3 months to 6 months, right? So that also gives you the opportunity to really build out a very well-oiled marketing plan for your advertisers with the other components. Adding in Google, local SEO is like my favorite. This is going to be a game changer for you and your team. If you're looking to add on to your product stack and kind of unsure as which way to maybe go, if you are not offering any of these solutions, I highly recommend that you start adding this to your product mix. You're going to see those retention numbers, those campaigns coming back and growing skyrocket.
Thanks, E. All right, guys, let's get into some of these strategies, some of these mixes that I've seen work like dynamite in pandemic and out of pandemic. You want to go with some of these strategies. So the first one that I saw really commonly, we see here on the sales team, we see a lot of partners have to support, is clients that want to grow their brand and produce that foot traffic to the business. So that's going to come from a threefold strategy here. So the products that you're going to need are streaming TV products. That's a combination of connected TV, full episode player. That's going to enact as that high funnel layer. Okay, that funnel layer at the top that we want, very profitable. Our device ID, that's our geofencing, our look back geofencing to capture where people are going in. And then the local, another nice low funnel product Elizabeth just mentioned, that's going to be great as our low funnel level. So the timeline for this strategy to start to take effect is going to be 45 to 60 days. So don't go tell the customer that this is going to take 2 weeks. This is going to take a month. Buy yourself to 2 months for this, kind of get that traction, those tires gripping on the road. You're going to see these products harmonize with each other. So the monthly budget for this, I did the baseline, the most conservative entry level numbers for this. So our streaming TV 60-40 split, that's 60% of the impressions are going to go on a connected TV device like an Apple TV, a Roku, any dongle or puck that goes to the TV. And then the 40% is the small screen, like full episode player that you'd consume the content on tablet, desktop, mobile. So 40,000 impressions per month allocated to streaming TV. We have then our device ID. We have 40,000 impressions allocated to that. That's our geofencing product. And then we have our local one. So per month on the baseline numbers should garner you about $900 of profit just for this account alone, just for 1 month. Okay. So let's go into what the journey is going to look like, you guys. So the journey is going to look like this. The first thing that they're going to see is they're going to see that streaming TV campaign running. All of us at home, we have some form of streaming service. The amount of stats that go into the households that have adopted a streaming platform as part of their in-home content consumption is massive during the pandemic and after the pandemic. So this solution is great for showing up at home on those connected TV, enabled devices. But at the same time, that 40% small screen is going to show up on desktop, tablet, and mobile. So devices that do a great job of absorbing traffic because it's easy to click on the ad when you're on those devices. So you're getting a really great blend of exposure as well as traffic in the same capacity. What you're going to get through that is a lift in this brand awareness because you have this hyper targeted video effort priming the area. And when the area is primed, it usually is going to become more physically active with foot traffic. And we want that. And we want that because that enables Accelerant to draw out those geofences to start our device ID campaign. So we are able to capture a much more saturated section of geofences due to that lift in brand awareness. So then we start to implement our device ID campaign. So we are harvesting those devices that went into those geofences. We're sending them then an ad because they were in that geofence at that time. So we're even getting further down in the funnel and further getting a fulfillment of quality. And then our last touch point is local SEO. They've been branded, they've gone into a physical business or location that has proven their physical behaviors to be valid. They're going to start to search locally and communally. And that's where our local SEO comes in the fold to capture that market interest. So our high, our mid, and our low, that completes the customer journey for strategy one. Elizabeth, what do you got? Boom.
Boom. Y'all, I want to just highlight here real quick too, because, some of you, if you're thinking, well, this is great. I mean, go-to packages, these strategies, they make sense. We're going to be armed, talking to our clients about this, taking on that consultative approach. But our team needs to understand the ins and outs of streaming television. They need to understand what device ID, historical geofencing is, why that capability is going to be so important for the advertiser, and local SEO. What are the benefits, right? Why is the client wanting to or needing to spend dollars in this platform? You need training, right? So that is a huge component too. What Accelerant brings to the table, an amazing muscle and strength of ours, because the digital world is always changing. That's catch 22. We love it, but man, it keeps us on our toes, right? You need to be sure that your team is always armed with the most updated information and enough to have them dangerous. So Accelerant provides our customized training curriculum. As a new partner, you would go through onboarding with our amazing team to build out that very strategic training on key and core products that you want to have in your offering. We would then enable you to get access to our learning management system, our knowledge base, our marketing library, video tutorials, one sheets, a lot of great information in there to, again, arm your sales team. They don't need to be digital experts to build out a very impressive campaign and sell these deals. They just need enough training. So I wanted to throw that out there too, because you want to set your team up for success, and the training that Accelerant provides to support all of these products, right, and support your team, you have that at the onset of the partnership.
So strategy number 2, you guys, we've all seen this strategy. It's a strategy that's really common coming out of the pandemic. Client is working to re-engage with an active user base or a line of customers, or they are trying to get in front of a customer right before they pick their brand or the competitor brand. So a lot of low funnel sales happening with this strategy. So it all begins with our dominant display. So our dominant display blend is our most effective blend that we have. The 2 features that it has that are very key is site retargeting. So when people visit your customer site, we can retarget an ad to them. And then it also has search retargeting. So people that are typing in specific keywords online, we can send an ad out to those people. So that's our high funnel product. We're rebranding ourselves. We're still trying to get in front because they're re-engaging. They're starting the customer journey over again. So we want that dominant display to be there. Email is our second point. It's a phenomenal urgency driver if used the right way. And then search or local SEO is our bottom part. If you do decide to go with the paid search route, yes, it is a lower profitability product, but it's a very key product for this strategy because we've already talked about it. It's a product that you just get to pay to play and show up at the top. Who else is at the top? Clients' competitors. So let's not let them have that very easy. Let's box them out of the paint and let's take that bucket, okay? The timeline for this strategy is going to be 60 to 90 days to take effect. I would, baseline 60. Don't go any less than that or else you're going to be, putting yourself in a corner. But that monthly budget, so again, we're playing the most conservative numbers, the most conservative rates you charge. The dominant display, 40K of impressions, email, 40,000 sends, and then paid search, $750 of ad spend budget. So that's looking at about $800 of profit per month for the strategy per account. So really nice, close to grand per account here with this strategy. So let's go into the journey, you guys. So this is what the journey is going to look like. They're going to see that programmatic display. We already talked about everything programmatic can do. from contextual to behavior to demographic. We're harnessing all that to come together with a very nice hyper-targeted ad and a relevant ad. And what that ad's going to do is that ad's going to act as the primer before we put the paint on. That's going to warm the whole market up. It's going to reactivate that user base.
Primer. Love it.
Primer. Again, that's going to lift the brand awareness again, especially if they're repeat traffic. Oh yeah, I haven't bought one of those in a while. Oh yeah, it's the time of year to sign up for that trip. Oh yeah, this is the time of year where it's great to buy a car. We're repriming and rebuilding that brand awareness. And then that email deployment goes out. I prefer the email deployment to go out after the display because, like I said, the display is going to heat up the market. So when the email comes, there's brand recognition built. And what's great is that email is going to create that urgency to act. It's going to get that customer to want to take the next steps. It's going to get them in the market to think about making a decision. How many businesses have we seen that do that? Everyone from State Farm to Allstate and taking advantage of certain rates and saving to REI to your Valvoline giving you coupons. Those emails drive urgency to take action. And then when our retargeting is immunized, it's weaponized because if we think about it, part of that programmatic display, that dominant blend has that site retargeting. So that site retargeting is that extra touch point that is increasing that effectiveness for them to take action. And when they're ready to take action, they're going to go search for it, whether it's your client or their competitor, and your search is putting you right there at the top to be competitive and take home the sale. So that's the completion of strategy number 2.
Something to keep in mind too, when you're talking about, that conversation with your client, when your AEs are setting up the pitch, reviewing the why behind it, right? Just like Zach has kind of outlined it here, depending on where your team is with their digital education, at how important digital offerings are in your company, where they kind of sit and reside, you might want to also have an expert on that call. AdCelerin also can join you too. Our team are white labeled as well. So we can help get a deal across the finish line. We can help address those kind of more granular and detailed questions about the why or the targeting capabilities on the back end, right? It's also a fantastic, again, training opportunity for your sellers to kind of hear how we go about talking to advertisers about the importance of these digital marketing tactics working together. So I think that's super important just to highlight as well. You don't need to be going rogue and having your team feel like, gosh, I have these great packages. It's all wonderful. And we've had some training, but man, I'm a little nervous about this one. This is a big opportunity. I need a wingman. We are your wingman. We can help you with all of these sales calls, join you, get the deal across the finish line, help you with that retention, grow that revenue.
Guys, if you didn't see it, the key product here is that email. Okay. That email is going to drive that urgency to get them to search later. Okay. So without that, you're not driving any urgency. You're just driving branding. So drive them downward with that urgency driver. Okay. Use that. That's the key product here. All right. Third and final strategy. Our third and final strategy is that the client has a brand new product or surface that they have to put out in the market. So the best combination I've seen in this space is your pre-roll or retargeting campaign. You could interchange that out for dominant if you'd like, and then your organic SEO. This doesn't take time for that product to stick. So this timeline is your longest timeline, but it's your most profitable mix in my mind. So this is going to be 120 days, maybe even 5 months, because it's got that organic SEO in there. But pre-roll, again, these are the most conservative numbers I could have put on the rates for you guys. So you're looking at about 1,500, a little over that in profitability per account per month. So 40, 40, 40, and then organic. We want the professional package. That's that good midline package. You can go up to enterprise if you'd like, but I would stay at that professional to get the 4 or 5 months of traction, gripping on the road with your low funnel product here. So let's jump into this journey too. So the first one is that pre-roll. So that 15 to 30 second ad does a great job of highlighting what the product is, what can it do, why is it valuable. With the static ad, they can only capture so much value from something that's new. So when you see something that catches your eye, it's usually in video format. It gets you excited to want to purchase it because you can see all the value that it brings to you as the customer. And it does create that higher qualified version of brand awareness because they're absorbing every feature, every benefit that that product or service has to offer them as the client's customer. So then our second touch point is the retargeting. So we want to use a retargeting campaign. This would be a strategy where I'd recommend getting that programmatic pixel
Yep.
on the website prior to campaign running. It's a really good tip. And that pre-roll will generate website traffic. It is the most common video product with YouTube to generate video traffic. So the more traffic that comes to the website, the more that retargeting campaign gets strong, weaponized, effective, because there's more users to retarget. And then our third touch point is that organic SEO. So then they're going to go actively search because they're very intent with the product. And that's going to absorb that higher quality, higher relevant form of customers that understands the comprehensive value of the service of the product. And then you're going to want to be showing up for those very relevant keywords that are around that product. And that's where, you don't have to pay-per-click. You're going to grow that that permanent presence through the keyword growth of an organic package. And since organic is absorbing more traffic day in and day out, week in and week out, your retargeting gets so much stronger because there's so many more people to retarget now because your website has captured that. The pixel has filled up. So retargeting actually comes in as the fourth touch point to really drive people home. And then you're getting people to convert because you're keeping them top of mind on a product that they understand the comprehensive value of purchasing it. So the key part there that I would say, before I let E chime back in, is that organic, is because that organic is going to make the retargeting stronger. It's filling up that retargeting bucket more and more and more. E, what do you got?
I think you dropped the mic on that one.
Yeah. Okay. Let's hop into Ben. Any questions in the queue, my friend?
No, we are set over there. We actually had several questions. All were answered in the queue. I know somebody had asked for different reporting examples to kind of show exactly what these different product combinations look like. We're not going to have anything about reporting in this presentation, but we definitely encourage anybody to reach out to either your dedicated account manager or to one of us on the business development team if you'd like to learn more about that. I know one person had made a comment about SEO being a long process. Yes, especially with organic. However, we do like to add into these local SEO products, which do typically provide a quicker kind of traction building when you use those along with some of these. And then device ID in Canada, unfortunately, we do not have that. There are geofencing capabilities within Canada that do not include foot traffic attribution. Yes, we'll be sending the recording in the deck. And then again, with, or actually one other question about, do we need to use Accelerant CPMs or can we increase it? I love that question, actually. The CPMs that we use are actually competitive CPMs for you. However, along with the brands and businesses that you're running, you can absolutely increase these CPMs to increase your profitability there. It's definitely doable. We've seen lots of people actually do that. And then if you're looking to schedule any more deep dive trainings for our geofencing products, our standard targeted display products, or even these SEO products, please reach out to your dedicated account manager at Accelerant to get those scheduled. Or if you are not a partner of Accelerant, please feel free to reach out to either myself, Elizabeth, Zach, or Ken on the business development team. But I think all this was awesome stuff, you guys.
Cool. Let me drive it home, you guys. Before you take off, next steps. I will always give you guys homework before you leave my calls. All this knowledge is great, but if you don't apply it, it doesn't mean anything. Okay. So the first step that you want to take home is questions for you guys and your team. So who should be building proposals? Who should be help nurturing the pipeline? How many do you need to create in a given week or in a given month to hit that pipeline goal? What is the average deal size that we're going to take? All good questions, just ask. Get every team member to contribute on that and what they think is feasible. And that's going to give your pipeline some legs. Okay. If you have no pipeline, you have nothing to sell. If you have nothing to sell, you're not hitting your goals. The second part is utilize your seller account manager and the onboarding team to work to create those proposals. Is not 100% on you. You can put some of that responsibility on us. We're happy to take it. We're happy to help you put those strategies together. Do those trainings like Elizabeth said. Line up time for us to join these calls. I saw so many people on the phone or on the line today that I've been on phone calls with. We are happy to white label ourselves, join and be the expert until you're comfortable to take the wheel. And then the last one, this is kind of my secret golden nugget. Consider running a webinar. So our team is always willing to run a webinar to help stimulate your pipeline and take a lot of that prospecting strain off your team. Ask us for some of those examples, some of those recordings. We will do everything from training product mixes like we did today to doing webinars for an industry. We give you guys that registration link and we give you guys the blessing, or we open the opportunity for you guys to give us the blessing on what we present. And we actually interweave your owned and operated, your legacy products into that pitch. So it's not all about Accelerant. It's about your entire business's profitability. We send you the who attended, the list of attendees. We even tack on usually incentive. So these are 3 things I heavily consider that you take as next steps. Ben, Elizabeth, anything that we missed?
I think this is awesome stuff here. And something that you just mentioned right at the tail end, I want to just highlight again. This is meant to complement your core owned and operated assets, whether you're a print publisher, magazine, an agency, a broadcaster. We're not looking for switch dollars here with these digital products and solutions and the revenue gen arm of your business. This is meant to be an additional element to further support your client. At the end of the day, they come to you as their marketing consultant. They look to you for your expertise. So the more that you can help streamline their efforts, be that one-stop shop, have the transparency, have the support, and the product offerings that they need to reach their goals and objectives, that is going to be a secret sauce for you to have long-term success. So I just wanted to highlight that real quick. The core is so incredibly important. These are amazing elements for you to maximize your revenue opportunity.
Cool, guys. Thank you so much for coming today. Hopefully everyone had a great first quarter. Is excited for quarter 2. These strategies, these tactics are going to set you up for a killer quarter 2. Any questions, just feel free to reach out to us. Thank you so much for your time and have a great rest of your week.
Cheers all.